Somewhere around the mid-1970s, Hollywood studios realized that the summer months were the perfect launching point for their most expensive, highest-profile projects. With kids out of school, families needed something to do. The prestigious Oscar bait timeframe was half a year away, and people welcomed an opportunity to get out of the sun and into a dark, air-conditioned room to watch grown men get eaten by dinosaurs whilst using the toilet. Billions of dollars have been made by summer blockbusters, and even a few awards have been won by them. So for the first of our 2025 summer specials, we want to look back at those mega-grossing pictures and try to determine the best summer blockbuster film of all time. Forget boats. With the way I've been eating this year, I'm going to need a bigger swimsuit. I'm your host, Eric Resniak. Please welcome my panelists for this episode, a real bunch of sharks. Our first panelist knows exactly what she was made for, getting felt up at the drive-in by her lady friend. Please welcome back my favorite Barbie girl, Carissa Kloss.
Thank you. And you know what I was wearing? Matching separates.
Matching separates. Work. Next, if you're not able, she will hold on to your butts for you. It's Kate Rakulia.
Clever girl.
Like Jurassic Park, you are dynamite, Kate. And finally, we have signs of the end times, human sacrifices, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, and the return of Michael Schwartz.
Thank you, Eric. Now let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things in Queens.
Michael, are you a god?
Yes, I am.
That's the correct answer. Thank you very much. And up in the producer booth, we have Derek Makita, who, after nearly 200 episodes of this podcast, still won't let the Wookiee win. For clarification, I am that Wookiee. If you're curious about how we ended up with the Sweet 16, become a Patreon supporter of the podcast or listen to the 3-minute preview available wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, you can head to this episode on greatpopculturedebate.com to find the listener bracket so you can play along with us at home. While you're there, check out some of our other related episodes, including Best Film of 1999, Best Movie Musical, and Best Disney Animated Feature. And with that out of the way, please silence your phones and extend your reclining seats as we get into these debates. First up, the panel has made 2 unanimous decisions. Ultimate 1-seed Jurassic Park, released in 1993, will roar into round 2 over 4-seed Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, which dropped anchor in 2003. And 3-seed Ghostbusters, the original from 1984, has trapped all of the votes, leaving 2-seed E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial from 1982 needing to phone home. But before we let them go, I wanted to at least speak on Pirates and E.T. Michael, you wanted to say something about Pirates.
Yeah, so this was actually, it was literally just called Pirates of the Caribbean, but this did so well in the box office for us that they needed to give it a title so that they could continue with the rest of the sequel. So Curse of the Black Pearl was never part of it until they re-released the film for you. Yep. You know, I mean, when you think about it, they did $650 million as a summer blockbuster. And in 2003, like, you kind of gross that up for inflation into today's dollars. You're talking close to $1 billion worth of sales for you. Yep. You got Johnny Depp, you have Orlando Bloom, and you have Keira Knightley. Jeffrey Rush in that kind of like secondary role for this film, stepping into a larger room when you get to the rest of the franchise for you. But everyone was just obsessed with it. You know, everyone wanted to do that Jack Sparrow run.
Yeah, I have to say, when that movie came out, I was like, But when I finally saw it, I was like, actually, this was better than it has any right to be.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was a surprise. Everyone was like, this is so entertaining, and we did not see it coming.
Right, especially like Disney fans like myself. Yep. We were like, why are you touching Pirates of the Caribbean? It's such an amazing and like nostalgic attraction. They're like, why are you going to fuck with this and make us all miserable about it? And then we go see the film, and we are just entertained for 2 hours straight with Johnny Depp and that damn accent that he puts together for that film.
Yep. I think it would have gone farther in the bracket if it was not up against Jurassic Park. It was just a bad one. Agreed. I also think this is the best of the entire Pirates series.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And like the third movie was completely unintelligible. I don't even know what's happening. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't realize there have been 6. I thought there were like 5.
No, there's 5. There was talk of a 6th.
Okay.
The talk was originally that 5 and 6 were going to be filmed back to back, but 6 never made it past into development for it.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for kind of clarifying that. I'll speak briefly on E.T., which I actually saw in the theater. And at the time I was 4, and it scared the shit out of me. This is a film that is not made for children, and yet it was made for children. And the shocking thing about E.T. was in 1980 dollars, it grossed $797 million. I have no idea what that is in 2025 dollars, but that's a lot of simoleons.
It's a lot.
It's about 1.7 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. E.T. was everywhere. No, I was terrified of the movie. I had the E.T. stuffed plush. I had the E.T. lunchbox in which I later put my weed. We ate.
Did you call it weed tea? Please tell me you did.
The Reese's Pieces connection. It was one of the first great like movie and like product integrations, which to me is part of summer blockbuster kind of culture. It was everywhere. I mean, E.T. destroyed the home video game system for like 5 years. That's true. If you don't know that story, look up the Atari story. It's actually fascinating. But it is up against Ghostbusters, which if I'm comparing the two, absolutely Ghostbusters has to continue there. It has to.
It's so interesting because like on the intro we talked about Goonies and how Goonies is a movie for kids. E.T. is a movie that says it's for kids, but it's for adults. Ghostbusters says it's for adults, but kids effing loved it. Like
Absolutely.
It's just there was a weird like thing going on in the 80s between like what's for kids and what's for adults.
All right, that being said, we are going to move Jurassic Park and Ghostbusters into round 2. Next, the bulk of the panel was feeling the summer lovin' of 1978's Grease, a 4-seed. But Kate wants to drain the swamp by pushing forward 1-seed Shrek from 2001. Kate, why are you ogre excited about Shrek's chances in this competition? I will tell us more about why Grease is still the word. Kate, please go first.
Yeah, Grease is fine. It's fine. And Grease is not a summer blockbuster. Grease is I saw you on TBS again and again and again and again and again.
The slander.
It's not a summer blockbuster. Sorry.
The slander.
Okay, step back.
Sorry.
Step back.
So Shrek, did we forget how freaking fun it was to have corporate Disney read for absolute filth by DreamWorks in this delightful movie? Like, it was such a breath of fresh air. It's a fractured fairy tale that kids can read on one level, adults can read on another. It is a true, like, 4-quadrant. Like, it was a huge success. It was another life for Mike Myers beyond Austin Powers. This was sort of like the minting of him at, like, another level of celebrity. Incredible performance. He gets to reuse the cry yourself to sleep on your enormous pillow voice, like from So I Married an Axe Murderer, like put to absolute best use as Shrek the Scottish ogre. It's a really clever movie. It is a sort of like DreamWorks coming out swinging, saying, Disney, you're not the only person in this town. Part of my rubric was how communal of an experience was it? And I feel like this was almost like we could just enjoy it, but it was like bringing the whole world in on this sort of like behind the scenes production of this kind of stuff. I did see it in a theater. It's spectacle. It's a beautiful CGI movie. A great Eddie Murphy performance. Great Cameron Diaz performance, actually. Gets the ending of Beauty and the Beast that like we all actually wanted because like the prince in the Disney one is like that guy. No, thank you.
Her.
So also like, do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man who lives under a rain?
Not my gumdrop buttons. Like, it's a great fun summer movie. It's a summer movie and Grease is not. Sorry.
Literally the opening song of Grease is Summer Loving.
But it's not. It's a TBS in the afternoon on Saturday again and again and again.
I rebuke you in the name of Olivia Newton-John. Carissa Kloss, are you sticking with Grease or has she swayed you over to Shrek?
I'm sticking with Grease. I really enjoy Shrek. I just don't think of it as a summer movie. I think of it as a fun adult animated.
Seen Grease in a theater?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
I have not, but I have watched it several times, and it has a feel to it that feels like summer. Like, Shrek is an all-time good movie. Grease is like a moment, you know? And that moment is warm and summer and dancey.
Okay.
And even though it is literally the school year, my gut here was just like, I don't think of Shrek as a summer movie. I just don't. It's an all-time good movie to me.
Michael,
Fair.
are you going to stick with Grease or are you going to go over to Shrek?
So when you think about a summer blockbuster, you think about there's a certain suspension of disbelief that needs to occur to really enjoy it. What's a bigger suspension of disbelief? A talking ogre or that all of those people were teenagers?
You know,
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so no, I think I'm sticking with Grease and I don't need to beat up Shrek to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not going to speak ill of Shrek. We've barely talked about Shrek ever
know we
on this
haven't,
podcast,
like, yeah.
at all.
And Shrek is fantastic. I loved it. But
It is.
Grease is the better film for the summer.
It's the word. It's the word. I don't even know what you said. This is settled law. All right. Next, the bulk of the panel has its heart set long, long ago and in a galaxy far, far away, as two-seed Star Wars from 1977 is poised to blast into round 2. But Carissa has bats on the brain and prefers three-seed The Dark Knight from 2008. Carissa, why so serious? Tell us why it's no joke. The Dark Knight deserves to advance. Michael, use your Jedi mind tricks to ensure that Star Wars continues to find love in Alderaan places, that being round 2. Carissa, please go first.
So Michael probably isn't going to have to argue anything here. I know I'm losing, but I just there's a couple of things that went into my decision here. One is that I'm just not really a Star Wars girly. I've seen them all. I think they're great. It just I was too little, or actually not in existence when it first came out. When the first one,
years.
yeah, and I remember my parents showing it to us when I was older. I don't know, like 5 or 6, and being like, "Yeah, this is really," and it just never hit for me. But I remember seeing The Dark Knight. I remember the Chris Nolan Batman trilogy, which was so cool. I still think it's very cool. I remember being super excited to see this second movie. It had so much lead in to it, the Heath Ledger of it all. He had been dead. He died in January, and this came out in July, I think. And that performance is exquisite. It's so good. It's widely regarded as one of the best comic book movies. It's a crime movie that has comic book characters in it. It kind of did things for the comic book movie genre that hadn't really been done before. It made it more... I don't want to insinuate that comic book movies aren't cool, but it made it a lot more like cool in a mainstream way, right? Like not just, you didn't have to be reading the comics to go and get it. Like if you went to Ant-Man, maybe that's more the case.
I'm going to change my vote.
Ooh. You're switching
We're not done yet.
I know. All right. So you're going to switch to The Dark Knight from Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinating. Okay. Michael, are you sticking to Star Wars?
Well, first of all, this is not the vote that you're looking for here. Okay.
Well done.
Thank you. I wanted to save some of this for later, but apparently I need to break some of my guns out here for you. But George Lucas and A New Hope, which was really just originally built just as Star Wars.
Just Star Wars.
We had to add that second part when we found out how successful that was. It grossed $775 million in 1977, which is equivalent to $4 billion in 2025.
Wow.
Absurd.
$4 billion. Okay, and this is the movie that establishes what a trilogy is. Before this, you don't have these series of films like this that take and continue a story across an entire story arc. George Lucas invents that with this. It takes 6 Oscars for this film, and mostly music, that beautiful John Williams score. When I look down the whole list of everything that's in this top 16, these are all 16 movies that I will watch again and again and again. Mm-hmm. And I, like Carissa, I will sit down and I will watch The Dark Knight with you sometime, and we will have a blast, and we will do that. But, like, A New Hope really sets the scene for what comes later for the Dark Knight trilogy for you, for a lot of other films that take a story arc and tell it over several films for you. If Lucas didn't create A New Hope, didn't create Star Wars, I don't know that we would have had some of these other films for you.
We get called out for using the primacy argument too often on this podcast, and I think that that's correct. However, I'm sticking with Star Wars here without question, and I'll talk about that more in round 2. It is a split decision, and Star Wars is the 2 seed. Dark Knight is a 3. I do think that, Chris, all of your points stand. Dark Knight's a terrific entry for comic book movies. It sets the bar really high, but I can't not give it to Star Wars in a summer blockbuster category for a multitude of reasons that we'll talk about in round 2. Next, it's a battle of 90s mega hits as the panel is evenly split between 1994's The Lion King, a 4 seed, and 1996 Twister, a 1 seed. Michael, tell us why we should be prepared for The Lion King to continue its circle of life into round 2. Kate, tell us why you're still sucked into the potent charms of Bill Paxton and, checks notes, Helen Hunt,
Darn
and
tootin'.
1996's Twister. Kate, please go first.
So, did I see this with you and Bob? Drink? Yes, I did.
You did. I actually literally vividly remembered this moment in our lives.
Yes, I vividly remember. So, So my rubric, which I mentioned kind of half-assedly before, is the movie about spectacle? Is it effects heavy? Did I see it in a theater? But it's also the summer blockbuster part of it, which is why your argument's made, Carissa, about The Dark Knight. It has to be a communal experience about a moment in time. Twister was in 1995. We went to see this movie.
96.
96, okay. Made by Jan de Bont. After he made Speed, asked to make Twister because Spielberg liked Speed. Michael Crichton and his wife were hired to write the script. It actually got greenlit because ILM made a pitch that showed a proof of concept effects of of the little truck with Dorothy in the back, like driving up to a tornado.
Yep.
Tell me something that is more 90s than those words that just came out of my mouth. Like, it's like super high concept, a product of effects and spectacle. We all went to see it. It, like Pirates of the Caribbean, was way better than it had any right to be. Based on, I read somewhere too that the script was basically like, it's a tornado documentary mixed with His Girl Friday, which, because you've got the Bill Paxton character and the Helen Hunt, who are divorced but still clearly love each other, and poor Jamie Gertz is caught in the middle.
This cast is
insane. It's like Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, R.I.P., but also Jamie Gertz, Carrie Elways, Lois Smith, who I know who she is now, Philip Seymour Hoffman, R.I.P., so many R.I.Ps. I know that this kind of like high concept, like wow their eyeballs, like I remember the feeling of watching all those little things like go up into the tunnel or into the funnel where they're studying. It's like scientists doing science to save people. I love this movie. Twisters is fine.
Twister singular is excellence. Twisters plural. Fine. Michael Schwartz, talk to us about The Lion King, which, again, the original, sensational. The remake, fine.
So, Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Worries. Exactly. So, if we're talking about a cultural moment, Kate, we have The Lion King, which creates this cultural moment for us. It is the fourth film in the Disney reboot of trying to figure out what they're doing. Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and then The Lion King comes
They're
along
like animals.
Yes.
Exactly. Talking animals for us, kind of stuff. You know, it wins 2 Oscars for yourself, both on song and score. It's a Disney blockbuster. It's the power of the rise of Disney back again, with Eisner back in charge and getting Disney films back out there and creating the whole Broadway experience. It does better than anything else for you. But when it comes to Twister, I will say cow, another cow.
Yes.
I think it's the same cow. But you could probably sit down and you could sing most of the words to Hakuna Matata. You can sing most of the words to Can You Feel the Love Tonight? You could probably even sing I forget what language they're using, Swahili, Zulu, whatever it is, to the opening of Circle of Life for you as well.
Nobody on this podcast should sing that anywhere in
No,
public.
I'm not even going to try, mind you.
Yes.
But I think that I know that Lion King is the lower seed at 15. I think that it creates a moment, and then that moment continues to live on through all popular culture more than Twister does.
All right, good argument. Can I hear from Carissa? Are you going to be on Twister or are you going to be on Lion King?
I think of Lion King the way that I think of Shrek, in that it's like an all-time good movie. It surpasses the summerness of it. I saw Twister in a drive-in. If you have seen Twister, you know that the Twister goes through a drive-in, and we were all freaking out. My parents backed the minivan into the space. We opened up the back. We brought like gallon bags of pre-pop popcorn. This was a summer movie, and it still, like, Twisters remains a summer movie franchise. It could only happen in the summertime. They could not release this movie in March. It's not coming out in November. No way. So it's Twister for me.
I think they sucked me over, Michael. And you know what? Someone's got to do it. That's all I'm just going to say. Someone's got to do it. I know. Hey, who is anymore? But that means it's 3 for Twister, which was the 1 seed. So it will advance into round 2. Right, next, in a battle of the sexes, the bulk of the panel thinks Life in Plastic remains fantastic, and 2023's Barbie, a 2 seed, should continue to fight the patriarchy into round 2. But Michael will need to whip up the votes to support alpha male icon Indiana Jones, as 3-seed Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981 may soon be a relic in this bracket. Michael, punch some Nazis and complain about snakes as you try to put Indy on our map. Carissa, explain why Barbie is enough to make it to the Elite 8. Michael, please go first.
I'm feeling targeted because this is the 3rd round in a row where I have to argue myself.
I know. I'm sorry.
And spoiler, I don't think you're going to win here, buddy.
Oh, I don't think I am either, honestly. Knowing knowing the three of you, I don't think I'm going to win either. But we do get Raiders of the Lost Ark, which I just find it's a fantastic film. I really enjoy it. It's the second best in the Indiana Jones franchise. Last Crusade is the best of all of them, I feel, out of all of them. And then Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then we won't just talk about the other three.
I like two, actually. I like two. Two is actually amazing.
Temple of Doom is... Yeah, no, I'm good.
Temple of Doom is hot trash, but it's so close.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. Temple of Doom is a dumpster fire of a film.
He is so hot in that movie.
He is.
Oh, God, I know. Kalima. Okay, but back to Raiders. I think it's the first one. I think that it is a summer moment, actually, when you watched Raiders of the Lost Ark for you. I think that my favorite little piece of Raiders trivia really is the fact that it makes when you get referenced in Big Bang Theory, when they ruin the whole thing for it, Indiana Jones plays no part in the outcome of the movie.
Yes, correct.
Everything would have happened without him.
Yep.
But it's still Harrison Ford. And he looked good in that film. And we have a fantastic Karen Allen in that movie. I know I'm not going to win the three of you over. Save your arguments on Barbie. Save it for the next round. Because I know I'm not changing any of the three of yours minds, but I'm going to stick by Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, Kate, are you sticking with Barbie here?
I'm going to stick with Barbie. Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I love it.
It's a great movie, but I also think it's bigger than the summer. And Barbie is also kind of bigger than the summer, but it was such a moment. Barbenheimer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we needed it as a society. Carissa, I have a feeling you're going with Barbie here.
I am, and I think the fact that it's one of the kind of few standalone movies that are moving forward. Actually, so far, everything else that's moved forward has at least a sequel, if not part of a trilogy or many more films. So I think, that gives it more strength because it's standing on its own.
All right, but we will be moving Barbie into round two. Next, it's another unanimous decision from our panel as 1975's Jaws, a 1-seed, devoured all the votes, leaving 4-seed Independence Day from summer 1996 lost in space. But Kate, like President Bill Pullman, you wanted to give a rousing speech on Independence Day before we let it go.
I mean, I don't know how rousing it's going to be, but this is another one that I remember. I remember going to see it, although I went to see it with my mom and my dad. And it's a throwback to an Irwin Allen disaster movie, through the eyes of crazy weirdo Roland Emmerich. Cast of thousands, incredible cast, great aliens, it went places that I didn't expect it to go because I was 15 and hadn't seen as many movies as I've seen now. But it's a great example of its kind. Will Smith, absolutely terrific. Judd Hirsch just giving a great performance. Harvey Fierstein for a tiny bit of time, still being memorable. Mary McDonnell, tragically dying. Sorry, 30-year spoiler. It's a great movie, and it's a great blockbuster because it's almost like IP proof. It was a moment in time. In 1996, we wanted to watch the White House explode, and we didn't even know how much we would need to see that 30 years later.
Right. Yeah. The fact that you didn't mention Jeff Goldblum is fascinating to me.
Also him.
Oh my God.
Also him. So there's so many people, and Brett Spiner is
in there.
An alien in Area 51, and who else? And Harry Connick Jr. and Vivica Fox, and there's so many people in this movie. Irwin Allen's Masters.
And I hate to say it, every time I think of the movie, all I can think of is Harvey Fierstein going, I gotta call my mother.
Yes!
I will say, you said it's a moment in time. They did the sequel eventually, and literally nobody cared. Nobody cared about that sequel. So it really was a moment in time. And its moment has passed, as it's also out of our bracket. Finally, in round one, 3/4 of the panel is yearning for a simpler time prior to the onslaught of Marvel movies, and has 2-seed Back to the Future from 1985 speeding into round two. But I will explain why 2008's Iron Man, a 3-seed, presented a stark shift in summer blockbusters going forward.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. Kate, put on your functionally useless puffer vest as you defend Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
You jump ship, kid?
I will armor up in my defense for Iron Man. I'll go first, and actually don't bother because Back to the Future should move forward here. I'm going to just briefly say, we would not have Marvel movies, which have come to define summer blockbusters since the 2010s, if we did not have Iron Man. That could be good or bad, depending on how you look at things. But this movie completely changed the landscape of summer blockbusters for the next 15 years and counting. So what it did extremely well. I don't think Iron Man is actually one of the great Marvel Cinematic Universe films. I think it's a perfectly serviceable one. It was the movie that it needed to be. It was very successful. It made $585 million. I was fascinated to see that it has, on Rotten Tomatoes, a 94 tomato rating, which is critic, and a 91 popcorn, which I think is way too high on, frankly, both of those scores.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, wild to me. But it actually has a higher critic score than Back to the Future, believe it or not, which is bonkers. But I think it's an important film in blockbusters, modern contemporary blockbuster films. But do I think it is a better summer blockbuster than Back to the Future? No, I do not. So I'm going to go ahead and move my vote over to Back to the Future. Chris, are you sticking with Back to the Future?
Yeah, I am. But also, Iron Man was the same summer as Dark Knight, which is crazy. Two like well-regarded superhero comic movies. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Kate, you sticking with Back to the Future here?
I sure am, yes.
Michael, you sticking with Back to the Future?
As long as we're talking about the film and not the Broadway show, yes.
Yes. Thank you for that distinction. So we will be moving Back to the Future into round 2. And that's the end of round 1, folks. We're going to take a quick break to go out to the lobby and get ourselves a treat. We'll be right back.
Is Captain Picard objectively the best Star Trek captain? Did The Sopranos really need that ending? These are the questions that keep us up at night. Welcome to the Great Pop Culture Debate, where passion meets pedantry. We dissect, we digress, and occasionally we devolve into glorious geeky chaos. But we can't do it without you. Support the Great Pop Culture Debate on Patreon and unlock a treasure trove of bonus content, early access to episodes, exclusive bonus debates, and the chance to finally weigh in on that great die-hard Christmas movie debate. Is it? Is it? Join the conversation. Support the Great Pop Culture Debate on Patreon, because some debates, well, they just need to happen.
And we are back for round 2 of our best summer blockbuster movie debate. Before we get into the Elite 8, I want our panelists to share their social media accounts and what else they're working on. I would like to start in the back of the pack with Michael Schwartz. Where can people find you? What you're working on?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram and tell me that I'm wrong about a lot of things. Feel free to reach out to me at TheraxNYC. That's THERAXNYC on, Therax329 on Instagram for you. So reach out, tell me I'm wrong or something. And as usual, I continue my work in the amateur Survivor community. So if you ever have an interest in online reality games or live reality game opportunities, reach out to me. I'm happy to connect you to the rest of the community.
Carissa Kloss, can you tell us where people can find you and what else you're working on?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Carissa Kloss, but if you actually want to interact with me, you should join our Patreon and the Discord. We're all really active there, and that's the place I like to hang out online, especially these days. Not working on much else, still sewing the matching separates, and I'm currently in the middle of a Mission Impossible rewatch in anticipation for the last installment coming out this summer.
And that's so in case you don't know, we do the warm-up for this episode in which we talk about things that didn't make the bracket that we were bummed about, and we talked about Mission Impossible. You get to see those, and I say see because we recorded video for it now, starting with our summer specials this year, if you are a Patreon supporter. So go ahead over there and check out a nice conversation about a bunch of other films that we didn't get on the top 16. Kate Rakulia, where can people find you? What else are you working on?
You can find me, I'm kind of like nominally on Instagram at GomezRack-ish, sort of. You can message me. I'm not really working on anything, maybe writing something, but I don't know. I'm not talking about it.
Yeah, she's not going to talk about it yet.
I'm not talking about it yet.
Little secret.
Not ready.
Yeah.
No.
Love that for you. The best place to follow us is on Blue Sky at gpcd.bsky.social or at gpcd on Mastodon. You should also make sure to subscribe to our page on YouTube, where we are going to be posting more original video content this year. But what you really need to do is to sign up for our weekly newsletter, new every Tuesday at noon. It tells you about everything coming out in pop culture that week. Sign up by finding the link on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com or via our link tree on any of our social media accounts. Now let's get into round 2, which, like most big big-budget sequels will be creatively bankrupt and ultimately unfulfilling rehashing of the original. First up, 2 unanimous victors from round 1 are up against each other. Tyrannosaurus Rex versus Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and only one can win. The bulk of the panel would feel dinosaur if one-seat Jurassic Park from 1993 were to go extinct in this bracket, but Michael will deliberately cross the streams unless 3-seat Ghostbusters from 1984 is left in the afterlife. Michael, tell us why there is no Dana, only Zool, and Ghostbusters in the final 4. Kate, fight tooth and claw for Jurassic Park. Michael, please go first.
Again, I don't think I'm going to change anybody's mind here, however. It's Ghostbusters was just such a great film for 1984. We have 2 Oscars under its belts for you. It grossed $370 million in the box office, which equivalent today would be almost over $1 billion in sales for you. So you have just a nerdy, fun, laugh a moment kind of experience, mass hysteria, cats and dogs living together moment for you. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man has become part of general pop culture for us, crossing the streams. Slimer, it had its own cartoon spin-off that you have there for you too. It's just a fun 80s film. Like I said it before, it's like all 16 of these films are ones that I will watch again and again and I think are great. And Jurassic Park is still one of my favorite films, but I do feel like somebody had to step up and rep for Ghostbusters here for you, because it's just Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, the rest of that crew. It was just such a great film. Oh, a very great nuanced performance from Annie Potts.
Yep, so funny.
Yes.
That just lit it for me again. Ghostbusters.
What do you want? And Rick Moranis, who we don't talk about enough.
No, exactly. And he went on, the other films that he did, and then he retired from film to be a stay-at-home dad. Which was
shrunk
fantastic.
The kids,
he shrunk the kids and then he went home.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And yes, this had sequels, and I enjoyed the relaunches of the Ghostbusters franchise, which were not bad. They're not as great as the original, mind you, but they were still fun.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Afterlife got me in the feels, I gotta say.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I didn't mind
like
Frozen
Afterlife.
Empire. I thought it was fine. But I think my argument for this one, and I'm sorry to jump in before you go, Kate, is that the original Ghostbusters was prestige, right? It was both blockbuster and prestige. I actually think these 2 films are very evenly matched because they are iconoclastic, they are prestige, they are blockbusters. Nothing like them had come before. They were total originals in their own way, even though obviously Jurassic Park was an adaptation of a book. But I think both of them have had subsequent kind of reiterations, and I think that Ghostbusters has kind of fallen from being an A-tier prestige property to more of a B or C-tier property over the years, whereas Jurassic Park, I think, maintains its cultural, and I see you disagreeing with that, Michael. That's fine.
Well, I'm just going to say that that's probably more of a recency bias, too. Jurassic Park keeps its thing because it's a newer film franchise, even with the reboots for you kind of stuff. 84 was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same, effects of values that some of the other ones did, which were still amazing for the time.
Totally.
That they did that for you. But
Go ahead, Michael. I have for that. So, Ghostbusters has 70s taking the piss comedy in it. That's its DNA, and it has blockbuster on top of that. Jurassic Park has blockbuster in its DNA, and it has franchise on top of that. Jurassic Park was built to be a property. It was built on a Crichton book, and it was built to have crazy effects. And I think they did not expect Ghostbusters to be the blockbuster that it was.
agree.
They weren't. And the same thing, a different bracket, and I'd be voting for Jurassic Park.
Sure, yeah.
But somebody needs to step up for Ghostbusters, no matter how wrong the rest of you are.
Kate, talk to us about Jurassic Park and why it should continue here.
So Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have a vivid memory of going to see it. I loved the Michael Crichton book. I knew all about it. I was reading all the trades and all the Entertainment Weekly and all this stuff. I knew that it was up against The Last Action Hero, and this was
oh God.
And that it was sort of pitched as who will win this summer? And this was the first time that I became aware that going to these movies was some kind of competitive American sport.
Yeah.
Which blockbuster's gonna win? Obviously it's Jurassic Park because it's Steven Spielberg completely reinventing the way that graphics and effects in movies work.
Yes.
This movie still looks absolutely flawless.
Yep.
Because it's a mix, a really artistic mix of practical and CGI. Peter Jackson did it he took the next step with there. Everything else is slop. I was memeable before there were memes. Hold on to your butts, clever girl. Like, it's just such a fun movie. It's such a scary movie. It's a great Sam Neill performance. Sam Neill is bae. Laura Dern is bae. Jeff Goldblum is bae. The Tyrannosaurus Rex is bae. That goat is bae. Like, it's so good.
Come through, go.
So yeah, and it was such a moment. Like, people were waiting for it. It came out, and it was just like, you know, as soon as they can open, we'll be fine unless they can open doors.
Amazing. Carissa, is it going to be Jurassic Park or is it going to be Ghostbusters for you?
I think this is where our probably the generational divide of this panel is coming to bear, because it's Jurassic Park for me. I saw it in the theater. I was 3 when Ghostbusters came out. So for me, I experienced Ghostbusters and I loved it as a kid and I still love it. And like, justice for the women-centered Ghostbusters film, which is really, really good and does not get nearly the credit.
Yep.
But it's the same as like Shrek and Lion King for me, where it's more than a summer movie. And so I'm leaning heavily on like personal experience here, but Jurassic Park wins for me.
I'm going to give it to Jurassic Park here. And to me, I remember the fervor that we had around this movie in that summer.
The McDonald's cups.
Everything. We will be moving Jurassic Park into the Final Four. Next is 70s SmackDown, as 4-seed Grease from 1978 is relying on Grease Lightning to slide past 2-seed Star Wars from 1977 and into the Final Four. I'm just going to go around the horn here and get votes. I'd like to start with Michael. Is it going to be Grease or is it going to be Star Wars?
Oh, this is Star Wars. No questions asked on this one for us. Grease is a great film, but Star Wars is the summer blockbuster.
Kate Ricoli, is it going to be Grease or Star Wars?
Oh, it's Star Wars, obviously.
Obviously. And
Because Grease is not a summer blockbuster.
Okay.
We know. You get that. We got it already.
Carissa Kloss, is it going to be Grease or Star Wars?
It's going to be Star Wars for me. What Michael was saying earlier about it being a trilogy and like the start and establishing that, that really did it for me. So Star Wars moving forward.
I made one good argument.
You did, and I'll make it a clean sweep. I am happy that Grease got at least to the Elite Eight. We didn't have any other live-action musicals.
Grease was here, and Terminator 2 Judgment Day was not.
But
Nor
I would like
was
to
Speed.
But let me say this about Grease, is that this did something that none of the others, I think, or at least it started something that very few other films hit, the nostalgia play, right? Because this came out in 78 when boomers were just entering their 30s, and it was firmly an exploration of the beginning of American car culture, the obsession they have with cars, and also teen sluts. And those are two things that are absolutely critical to
Stalker
the boomer-
Channing.
Oh,
American
she was,
Graffiti, Back to the Future, right?
Yes.
Like
Right
it's
there.
kind of the beginning of that whole thing, and the many other films have gone on to explore those themes, but Grease did that in addition to having amazing songs and dance numbers and being a dazzling spectacle. It is, I think, it deserves its place in this Elite Eight, but it is going out, and Star Wars will continue to the Final Four. Next, it's 2 films about natural disasters, tornadoes and men. The panel is split between 1-seed Twister from 1996 and the bona fide cultural reset that was 2-seed Barbie from 2023. Again, I'm going to go around the horn here for votes, and I have assumption where Carissa's going. Where are you?
I'm with Barbie. I think at this point, this is the only standalone film that's still on this bracket. And this is maybe some recency bias here, but like we all remember this moment. It hasn't been that long. Like I wore pink to the theater. I saw this twice. I don't think I need to argue more about this right now, but I will if I need to.
Kate, is it going to be Barbie or is it going to be Twista?
Twister was a moment, but Barbie was a much bigger cultural moment.
It was a movement.
Even relative to its time,
It was a
right?
movement.
Like
It was a
Twister was a
movement.
minor moment, comparatively speaking, yes.
Michael, is it going to be Twister or Barbie? Or do you not care about this one? Is this the battle of who could care less?
I'm going to vote for Twister just for the moment.
Okay, that's fine. I'm totally giving it to Barbie here. A Twister was, in 1990, whatever, a thing. Barbie is like, even now, 2 years after Barbie, I still see people wearing Knuff sweatshirts.
Yes.
I still see the references reverberating. And
It's
we were going to say
because
something,
we're
Carissa?
currently living in the Mojo Dojo Casa House era.
Yes.
Like this is the only way I'm able to stay alive right now is people being like, okay, so this is where we are now. So we're really close to when the Barbies take back the government and then now we all live happily ever after. So I'm choosing to believe here.
Yep.
You heard it here, folks. And the question is, how are you kidnapping brainwashed Barbies and bringing them back to the side of logic and reason? Ask yourself that question. But that means it's 3 for Barbie, 1 for Twister. We will be moving Barbie into the final 4. Finally, in round 2, I think we have one unanimous decision, as the entire panel agrees that 1 seed Jaws from 1975 is the real Enchantment Under the Sea, meaning that 2 seed Back to the Future from 1985 will be left in our brackets past. But we haven't really talked about Back to the Future yet. And Kate, do you want to say something?
Sure. Back to the Future was one of my absolute favorite movies as a kid. I remember taping it off of HBO. I did not see it in the theater. I was too young. Look, some things about it, like when you really think about it, don't hold up. Like, who taught Chuck Berry how to play?
Yeah. Yeah. That's difficult.
That's difficult.
Yep.
Yeah, and but just talk about this movie hitting a moment in time, hitting the zeitgeist, right? Like the 80s wanting to be the 50s. You tell me, future boy, who's president of the United States in 1985? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor. Then who's vice president? Jerry Lewis. It's just also like, we're living in this world. Thank you, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So, but it's such an entertainment. It is designed to like please as many people as possible, and it's witty and it's emotional and it has an incredible soundtrack. And I mean, it taught me, a child of the 80s, about the 50s. About an idea of the 50s. Let's say that, not actually about segregation.
Well, we don't like to talk about that.
I do also just want to say
DEI, stop.
Yeah, I think that's banned now.
We are sad to lose Back to the Future, but we will be moving Jaws into the final 4. And with that, we do have our final 4. We're going to take another quick break to pick a fight with that kid who will not stop watching TikToks while the movie is playing. We'll be right back after these messages.
Another email newsletter? God, I know. But listen, the Great Pop Culture Debate newsletter, it's actually useful. Give us 3 minutes of your lunch break, and we'll tell you all the coolest new stuff in pop culture that week. The biggest new movies in theaters, the hottest new albums about to drop, the TV shows everyone will be talking about. We bring it to you every ball. It's all thriller and no filler, and you'll also find out all the fun news from the podcast. Subscribe today at greatpopculturedebate.com/subscribe.
And we are back with the final 4 of our Best Summer Blockbuster Film debate. At this point in the show, I always like to take a step back and see if it shook out the way I expected it to. I also like to add at this point that no matter which option wins, we are celebrating all of these entries, and I hope that nobody gets salty about what comes next. We have a final 4 of Jurassic Park, a 1 seed, versus Star Wars, a 2 seed. Barbie, a 2 seed, versus Jaws, a 1 seed. So that's a good 1 and 2 mix. We have 2 70s when I would say Blockbusters started. In fact, I believe if you look it up, Guinness Book of World Records considers Jaws the first summer blockbuster film. And then we have a 90s and a 2020s, which is kind of fun and unexpected but delightful. I would like to start around the horn with Carissa Kloss, Jurassic Park versus Star Wars. Which one are you going to go with?
This is probably not a surprise since I've said I'm not a Star Wars girly, but I definitely am a Jurassic Park girly. I was so obsessed with this movie. I read the book several times, which is why my parents let me see the movie when I was younger. I saw it in the theater, and the moment where they come across the first dinosaur, like it's the like 6th stegosaur, right? And Laura Dern lays on her and she's breathing, and like the magic of that moment is like cinema magic for me in my heart. Like I can never forget seeing that when I was like 12. But I think this whole franchise, except for Jurassic Park 3, is really good. Lost World included, or Jurassic World included. I think it's really great, and this is my first summer blockbuster that I remember experiencing, so that trumps the Star Wars nostalgia part for me.
All right, Kate Riccouli, is it going to be Jurassic Park or Star Wars?
It's definitely Jurassic Park, and actually, same, Carissa. I think it's the first one that I really remember like actively participating in the anticipation and going and not feeling let down.
Right, because they did not show the dinosaurs in the previews. You did not see, I think, any of them in the television previews before the movie came out.
Yep.
I think you saw the T-Rex's eye. I think that's the most you saw.
Because that was the iconic vision of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And
Yes.
so when they're in the open field and here's the dinosaurs and then there's more dinosaurs and like having read the book and like
Yep.
being
The book is
like
awesome
you're
and brutal.
you're scared of the T-Rex, but the scarier things are all the little guys, you know,
Yeah.
that swarm and stuff like that. Yeah, it just it's like the first thing that made my imagination come alive on screen that felt real and accurate.
And it is a popcorn movie. It is meant to be an entertainment.
Totally.
It's designed to be a ride.
Yes.
But it is made by Steven Spielberg, who is a consummate filmmaker. It is a very good piece of film. Like,
I think all four of these are popcorn
Yes.
movies that are also extremely good films that are
Yes.
actually critically acclaimed and rightfully so. Michael, is it going to be Jurassic Park or Star Wars for you?
This is probably the one time that you will find me vote against Star Wars, because I think that this, to me, this is really, they're both fantastic films,
Yeah.
but in the end, I really do think that the best summer blockbuster in this case is going to be Jurassic.
So I'm actually going to vote for Star Wars here, and it's not because I don't agree with everything being said about Jurassic Park, but we haven't talked that much about the cultural explosion that was Star Wars in 1977. Now, I wasn't alive then, but I've seen the archival footage. I've read the stories, and you had people lined up around the block for multiple weeks to see this film. People saw it over and over and over again. This was the original cultural water cooler movie. If you hadn't seen Star Wars in 1977, you were not with it. You were completely outside of pop culture. It defined pop culture in a way that I'm not sure that anything else had at that point. The Beatles, maybe. The Beatles on Ed Sullivan might be the closest thing that would have come true. It was an actual moment that exploded far beyond the actual film itself. But the film itself also, I mean, all the things we said about Jurassic Park, be it the score, be it the mind-blowing visuals, etc. Star Wars did all of that 20 plus years before. You were going to say something, Michael?
Yeah, I just also want to point out that with the $775 million that Star Wars made, remember, that's when movie theaters had 2, maybe 3 screens.
Right.
They weren't multiplexes back then.
That's a great point. But like we're talking about even the visuals of Star Wars watching it in the 90s, right, were still incredibly impressive. And so I think these are super evenly matched. I'm giving the nod to Star Wars here because everything that Jurassic Park does and did super well, Star Wars also did super well. But I do think they're both so evenly matched. I give it to Star Wars just so it doesn't go out 4-0. Next, it's Barbie versus Jaws. Barbie's a 2 seed. Jaws is a 1 seed. I have a suspicion where Michael Schwartz is going here. Where are you going?
I'm going with Jaws. I'm sorry. I know I'm the outlier here. I know Barbie was a cultural moment. Barbie was a great film, but it didn't resonate with me like a lot of other films do for you. But I'm gonna Jaws again. A cultural moment. It's you put Jaws on the screen, and people are afraid to get in the water for the rest of that summer. Honestly, it killed tourism across the eastern seaboard. For you. You know, it had that psychological effect on people, and Barbie does too. But this was like that first time. It's that cultural iconic moment that maybe you have to harken back to like Psycho about going into the bathroom and getting scared about doing that before you come along and you get Jaws, where it has this complete mass hysteria psychological moment with the entire populace about, oh my God, I get in the water, I'm going to be eaten by a shark. It sets the stage for what a true summer blockbuster does become. It puts people on the edge of their seats. It has a long-term impact on the American psyche after it is over and everything like that for you too. We didn't talk a lot about Jaws because it's kind of sailed its way into the final 4. I think.
Unanimous every round up until now.
Every round. And I think that just speaks to it. And yes, it's up against Barbie, and I understand and I recognize the moment that Barbie plays and how important that is too. But just like Eric last round, didn't want Star Wars going out without a vote, I can't let Jaws go by at this point either without saying how important this film was to people.
Well, I have a sneaking suspicion it's not going out with just one vote. Kate, is it Barbie or is it Jaws?
It is Jaws.
Yeah, I was going to say. I know Kate.
So Barbie is a spectacular movie. It is doing so many things on so many levels and hitting so many people exactly where they needed to be hit. And will continue to do that. I mean, Barbie was the Jaws for 2024.
3.
Is that
Three.
right? Three? I don't, what is time? But Jaws, it is a huge spectacle. It is a beautifully made movie.
Shot
Incredible
so amazingly.
cinematography. Incredible performances of Roy Schneider.
Scheider.
Sorry, Roy.
I think it's Scheider.
He's a babe. It's Scheider. It's Roy Scheider. And Richard Dreyfuss and what's his face? Quint. I am giving it especially an edge over Barbie because you know what? It is about summer vacation.
That's
It is
true.
literally a summer movie.
Yep. Good points. Carissa Kloss, are you sticking with Barbie here?
It is always summer at the Barbie Dream House.
You also make a good point. His job is beach.
His job is
I-
beach.
Beach.
This
Very
is
good,
the
Derek.
most like weirdly original movie. Okay, like I love Greta Gerwig, loved her from Before Times. Found out she was adapting Barbie into a movie, and you're like, how are you turning a toy into a thing? I feel like so many of these blockbuster and just summer movies in general skew male. They skew male directors, they skew male actors, they skew male-centered storylines. Okay, this is not that.
Chrissy gets eaten by a shark in the first 10 minutes.
It's true.
Exactly. That's what you get for being a woman and having legs. I don't know. But like not in Barbie. There's probably wheelchair Barbie, right? Like they're all everybody is here. This
Dua Lipa
like
is Mermaid Barbie. She wouldn't get fucked up by a shark.
exactly. This is what I'm saying. So all the rest of these movies have like a very iconic soundtrack, like a theme. Barbie has a soundtrack, like songs. That this album went crazy. Everybody loved everything about this. I saw this twice in the theater. I wore pink every time. It was crazy, and it was such an amazing moment for feminism. We're all afraid of the shark, but are we not also terrified of patriarchy? And are we not also living in the timeline where this is playing out?
Do you know what is actually going to affect our lives? Patriarchy and not sharks.
Exactly.
What if sharks find patriarchy, which I think has something to do with horses? Yeah,
Well, when I was a
Address
child,
that in
I was.
Sharknado.
they do. Yes.
There's so much in this movie, and there's so much about this movie that makes it iconic in its own way. It worldwide grossed over almost $1.5 billion. It's the only solo female directed film to make $1+ billion. As far as we know now, it seems to be a standalone movie. It is not going to spark sequels. It's not part of a franchise. It's not adapted from a book. This is an original property that sparked everybody to talk about it, whether you were on the Barbie side or the Oppenheimer side or doing both and the dual feature, whatever.
Why not both?
There's so much about this that's so wonderful. It's so camp. It's so fun. It's very much a summer kind of movie and set. And honestly, it's the one thing that's giving me hope living through the dark timeline of patriarchy. So I think, yes, this is recency bias, but I also think the podcast and us just generally seem to lean nostalgia, lean primacy. And there's value in lifting up the new things and in moving forward with the current culture, the things that we have. There's so much here to love, and I love it. So it's my choice here. But this was my hardest pairing.
I love your point that sometimes we need to actually elevate current culture and not just fawn over what was popular 30, 40, 50 years ago. So I'm going to take that into my heart going forward, but not today. I am going to give it to Jaws. So it gives us a final two of Jurassic Park versus Jaws, which, as Kate was talking, it made me delighted because these are films that are based on books. These are films directed by Steven Spielberg. These are films with scores by John Williams. These are films about basically things that terrify us.
Animals.
They're
Animals
monster
that terrify
movies.
us.
They're
They're monster
Yes.
movies. So I'm going to start, frankly, with Kate, right in the middle. Is it Jurassic Park or is it Jaws? And I do not
God.
want to have a time.
I, in this moment, am feeling called to say Jurassic Park.
Okay, and that's fine. And what is calling you to it?
My own personal experience. I got to see it. I got to live through it. I got to feel it. You know, I feel like Jaws was the beginning of something, and Jurassic Park was sort of the machine. It's like when you go up a roller coaster and you're going up the thing and you feel the gears clicking underneath you before you go up. That was what Jurassic Park was.
The Velocicoaster, one could say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's such a good coaster.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's okay. Michael, is it going to be Jurassic?
If either wins, I'm happy.
Okay. Michael, is it going to be Jurassic Park or is it going to be Jaws?
I was hoping Kate would keep talking a little bit more so I could reason this out in my head. I'm voting from my heart here, and I'm going to have to go with Jurassic Park as well. I have the Jaws is a classic film for me, but Jurassic Park, I think I've gone back and seen it more often than I have Jaws.
Carissa, is it Jurassic Park or Jaws?
It's Jurassic Park for me, and it's because I remember very vividly, like in my body, experiencing this for the first time. But it's also because I've revisited both of these films many times, and the Jaws, like the shark is a little bit dated now. I went to Universal Studios as a kid, and I remember it feeling a little hokey, right? But like that Velociraptor is still terrifying. Like the monsters in this film are so good and so scary. And it's
so beautiful. The first time.
It really, it's magical, right? That moment with Laura Dern, like that's imprinted on my soul. So Jurassic Park is my winner here.
So we haven't talked about the overall box office gross and the ratings for these two films. So I do want to say this. Jurassic Park grossed over $1 billion, and that's in 1993 dollars. So again, I don't know what that is now. It has a 91% tomato rating, which is critical, and a 91% popcorn rating, which is fan. Jaws was $476 million in 1975 dollars, which may even be more.
I think it's probably more.
Yeah.
It's 2.7 billion. I looked at. I did the calculator. $2.7 billion in 2023. So
Okay. Yeah. And what was Jurassic Park when you did it? That one?
I didn't do the numbers for Jurassic Park, but
It was $1 billion in 1993. So what is that now?
93, 1 billion, 2.1. So Jaws in adjusted dollars is the bigger grosser.
Interesting.
But
And if you're
also
listening-
fewer screens,
Fewer screens,
fewer
absolutely.
options, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And if you're listening to this being like, oh, who cares about box office? I care about box office in this particular debate. I think that is
Absolutely.
an essential
It's
part of my
key.
rubric. Jaws, the tomato rating was actually higher, 97. The popcorn rating lower, 91. And I agree with that
70s,
because
70s
it's
pace.
70s pace. And I think if a blockbuster, Summer Blockbuster has to never let off the gas. It's got to constantly be building. And Jurassic Park does that. It is a thrill. It just keeps getting more and more thrilling. That moment at the end where we're climaxing, they're being chased by velociraptors and they go back into the visitor center, and then it's the T-Rex versus the velociraptors.
And he gets
as
to be the
banner-
hero.
Yes, and the banner's coming
And the
down.
banner falling.
And it's like literally cinematic. It is the definition of spectacle. And I just don't think it gets better than that. Jaws was Spielberg really starting to come into his own as a filmmaker and as an artist and as a blockbuster filmmaker, right? Like someone who excelled at this particular type of filmmaking. Jurassic Park is, I think, for popcorn movies in Spielberg, the best it ever got. I don't think he's made one better than that. I'll just say one last thing, and I'm going to give it a clean sweep to Jurassic Park, is now that we have the technology to bring these, extinct animals back, I say bring back the dinosaurs. I welcome them. We've had a good run. It's yours. Take over. Let's see what you can do with the place.
You know what I do say
That's
all the time?
Jurassic World 6, buddies.
What I say all the time, it just feels endlessly applicable in this, our tech bro dystopia. They only thought, what is it? Whether or not they could, not whether
that
they
they
should.
They should.
Like,
Yes.
it's just like,
Here we are.
Here we are.
Exactly. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Our pick for the best summer blockbuster movie is Jurassic Park. Do you agree? Do you want to hurl Rotten Tomatoes at us? Tell us how you really feel by leaving a comment on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com or find us on Blue Sky or Mastodon. While you're there, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you can hear about what new debates are coming soon, vote in open polls, and even decide which topics we tackle next. I want to say thank you to my panel. You are worth every penny I put into the special effects, which is zero. And thank you for listening. If you loved what you heard, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get even more exclusive content and you get episodes a whole day early. We hope you have a good one. And remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion in a world where eggs cost $8 a dozen.